How do you best manage diabetes? Let's talk about it. More than 130 million adults are living with diabetes or prediabetes in the United States. Diabetes is associated with obesity and malnutrition, particularly overconsumption of calories, especially carbohydrates. So how do you manage diabetes once you're diagnosed? If you have type 1 diabetes, in which your pancreas makes no insulin, usually because of an autoimmune attack on the beta cells of the pancreas, you need very careful glucose monitoring. If you have type 2 diabetes, your hypothalamus is not properly controlling your glucose metabolism. So you develop insulin resistance, in which your cells do not allow insulin to escort glucose in for energy production. The extra glucose is packaged by our liver into triglycerides to be stored in your fat cells. Your pancreas keeps making more and more insulin and eventually becomes worn out. Managing diabetes effectively means you are committed to doing 5 things. Monitor your blood glucose. Wearing a glucose monitor can help you see how your food choices affect your blood sugar. It's a great eye-opener because most people don't realize that the food they're eating are high glycemic, causing sharp rises in blood sugar. Now you can see how your blood sugar responds to white bread versus oatmeal. Number 2, eat a low glycemic index diet. What you eat is super important in managing your diabetes. One of the most vital things you need to learn is the glycemic index. The glycemic index of foods basically means how fast the food is turned into sugar. If you consume 100 grams of glucose, you will see it in your bloodstream right away. Glucose has a glycemic index of 100. A high glycemic index is anything over 50. All sweet starches, white flour, white potatoes, white rice are all very high on the glycemic index scale and need to be avoided. So choose whole grains and legumes, which have a much lower glycemic index. I recommend my patients to also follow an insulin-resistant diet. And if you're interested in accessing my insulin-resistant diet, please join our free hormone reboot training. Number 3, exercise regularly. If you're not exercising both aerobic and weight resistance, you're not able to burn the calories that you're consuming. You end up having higher blood sugar levels, higher insulin levels, and greater insulin resistance. Being sedentary is the new smoking. It's eventually going to shorten your life. At least 20 to 30 minutes of aerobic exercise 3 to 5 times a week is recommended to help manage diabetes, plus twice a week doing weight resistance exercises. High intensity training, or HIIT, 3 times weekly can reduce insulin resistance and help you lose body fat and control blood sugar. Number 4, get enough sleep. If you are not getting enough sleep, it's going to be very difficult for you to lower your blood sugar and decrease insulin resistance. When you're sleeping, melatonin helps desensitize your cell receptor sites to insulin. It's very important that you get at least 7 to 9 hours of sleep, and be sure you're sleeping in a dark room. Otherwise, you don't make enough melatonin. Now, if you have any questions about managing diabetes, please join me in our hormone support group, where I answer your questions live. You get access by signing up for my free hormone reboot training. Number 5, support your hypothalamus. Your hypothalamus controls your blood sugar by managing your glucose metabolism, including pancreatic production of insulin. Your hypothalamus also directs your liver to package up the extra glucose into triglycerides to store in your fat cells. Your hypothalamus also controls your metabolism, which is how much energy your cells create. The higher your basal metabolic rate is, the better managed your diabetes will be. My patients with insulin resistance and type 2 diabetes are able to get their blood glucose levels under control and get their hemoglobin A1C down by supporting their hypothalamus with Genesis Gold. Hemoglobin A1C is a measurement of how high your blood sugar has been over the last couple of months. The goal is to keep hemoglobin A1C under 5.7%. I've even had insulin-dependent type 1 diabetics start using Genesis Gold and notice better blood sugar control and a decreased need for insulin. With hypothalamic support, you're much more tolerant of the foods you eat. While you still have to avoid high glycemic index carbs, you're less likely to experience insulin reactions or hyperglycemia. I'll see you in the next video.